Hello, everyone. So, I saw the Sonic movie last night, and I will say it was great. I don't exactly have any notes here. I'm just going to kind of wing my thoughts here, so let's just see how this goes. Also, sorry if I sound a bit different today. My throat's a bit scratchy today. Nothing I can do about that. Anyway, on with the review. So first things first, the plot. The plot, as cliche as it was really entertaining to watch, and actually was not quite as cliche as you might think. I'm not going to go into any more detail because spoilers. And then, of course, we got Sonic himself, and while he's not exactly how he is in the source material, I honestly didn't care. He was still a really fun, energetic, goofy person, and he super entertaining to watch, and yeah, this is an origin story kind of thing, so I wasn't expecting it to be exactly like the games. And speaking of Sonic, his voice actor, Ben Schwartz, was just as perfect as I thought he would be when they first announced him. Because throughout the movie, I was never distracted by his voice once. All throughout the movie, as he spoke, I'm like, that is Sonic. Like, if Ben Schwartz replaces Roger Craig Smith, that would be perfection in my ears. Again, nothing against Roger Craig Smith, but he's just not the best choice for Sonic. But Ben Schwartz, yeah, I'd say he's just a smidge behind Jason Griffith, in my opinion. And then the human character, Tom, played by James Marsden, he was super entertaining too. Like, he was an absolute mood in multiple scenes, and he had clear motivations, and he was, yeah, a pretty good side character to Sonic. And then, of course, there's the cream of the crop, Jim Carrey as Dr. Robotnik. My gosh, he was a perfect villain in this movie. He was so goofy and entertaining and also intimidating at the same time. And, yeah, it was really... the parts where he, like, condoned, nature and was all like, my machines are perfection. Like, yup, that is pure Robotnik right there. And every other scene where he wasn't doing that, he was still a really unique and interesting take on Robotnik. I can't wait to see where they go with him if they ever make a sequel. And then there's the comedy. For the most part, pretty much every joke landed with me. I was chuckling pretty much every scene at least once. And yeah, it was really fun as a whole. There was one scene in particular that made me cringe so hard. And it was the scene from the first trailer where Sonic was in the bag and James Marsden is all, oh yeah, it's a child in this bag, but it's not mine. Like, that scene already made me cringe in the trailer, and extended, it was just even worse. But other than that one scene, the comedy was golden. Would you believe me if I told you Sonic makes an appearance in this movie? Because Sonic makes an appearance in this movie. And that was one of the most clever jokes in the whole movie. It makes sense in context. Speaking of which, Easter eggs. So the Easter eggs were all throughout the movie, but they were all so subtle that I missed most of them. And that is how you do Easter eggs right. You gotta look out for those things. Like, whenever a movie that's referencing something else makes an Easter egg and is all like, oh, look at this thing right in the big front and center of the screen. Like, oh, look, we're referencing this other thing. That is not how you do Easter eggs. That is just blatant fan service. But, like, sorry. Sonic had, like, a map of the universe so he could, like, teleport to other worlds with his rings. And apparently on that map were a whole bunch of references to old concept art for the Sonic series that I didn't even realize until I checked the internet after the movie. Like, things like that, those are perfect Easter eggs. Oh yeah, and the way Robotnik gets the nickname Eggman in this movie is also kind of clever. Like, instead of Sonic making fun of his big fat shape, like in the source material, like in Sonic Adventure, where it's like, look, it's a giant talking egg. Silence, I am Dr. Robotnik. Like that, it's not that. Instead, Jim Carrey's drones are like sort of egg-shaped, and Sonic is all like, your eggs are cool, Mr. Eggman. And then from that point on, he keeps calling him Eggman. And like, I thought that was interesting way to come up with the Eggman nickname, but I'm not complaining, it works. And then there were the action scenes. The action scenes were also super entertaining to watch. Like Sonic versus Robotnik, those moments were really fun. And Sonic just being his self running around and stuff. Those were fun. And there were two scenes, I think it was, where Sonic like practically froze time with his speed and like did a whole bunch of stuff. That was like Quicksilver in the X-Men movies, which I actually haven't seen, but I have heard about them, and I think I've seen the clips at least. But yeah, it is exactly like those scenes and just as entertaining. So now I'm sure you all want to know, what do I think of this movie in relation to Detective Pikachu? Because two video game movies released only a few months apart, and both in relation to my two favorite franchises in the world. How does this hold up to Detective Pikachu, or does Detective Pikachu hold up to this? Well, I will say they are two completely different movies, so they shouldn't be even compared at all. But on that note, it is nice to see this like resurgence in quality for video game movies, because like ever since like the Super Mario Bros. Movie in 1994, I think it was, pretty much every movie adaptation of a video game has been seen as garbage. So to see two video game movies come out back to back with really great reception and have such high quality and fan passion behind them, it's just so great to see that they're finally getting video game movies right. And I really want to see where they'll go with the Sonic series, or even the Detective Pikachu series for that matter, because both have potential for sequels. Especially after the Sonic movie's mid-credit scene, wink wink nudge nudge, no spoilers, there's a mid-credit scene and you gotta see it if you want to experience the full experience. Was that a good take? Yeah, I think that was a good take. So final conclusion, was the Sonic movie good? Yes. Was it great? Yes. Was it perfect? No, there's no such thing as a perfect movie. But would I see it again? Most likely. I would recommend it to anyone who wants to have a nice, fun family movie to have a fun time with. And I would also recommend it to Sonic fans because it, like, all the Easter eggs and stuff. And it's a nice, unique take on the Sonic character and the Sonic series as a whole. I really can't wait to see where they're going with the sequels. So yeah, watch the Sonic movie as soon as you can. We really need to support it, especially after Paramount went and changed the design and delayed the movie by 3 months. Totally worth it. We need to show that we care and that we really, really appreciate that redesign and the delay.